Meanwhile, the war is impacting petrol prices here in Australia, of course, with prices skyrocketing and pumps running dry.
The global oil supply shock from
Motorists are being warned to brace for petrol to soar to $3 a litre because of the war in the Middle East. It's already jumped above $2.
Yep, that's right, $3 a litre. Where does this leave us, you may ask? Well...
Try buy the best, find us and walk the rest.
Right back to the servo to start our next trip.
Modify my car, mate.
Welcome to our great rural pub trip.
Hello everyone, welcome to our next trip. We're doing a bit of a Aussie pub crawl today, so we're going from Tweed Coast through Brisbane out to Goondiwindi, where we're gonna go for a bit of a tour of all the pubs in the town. So a bit of an iconic pub crawl day, and then tomorrow we should hopefully be heading out to Nindigully and maybe Lightning Ridge if we're lucky. So it should be a pretty cool outdoor day, but hope you enjoy.
Just a bit into our journey, we did stop at Worrell View just so we could sort of stretch our legs and get out of the car for a little bit. Nathan's brand new car was having a little bit of problems, so we decided that we'd pull over and have a quick look. This place was actually a pretty cool, semi-rural little town. I went to use the loo, and lo and behold, a little python just sitting there. Scared the crap out of me. But he was pretty chill. He was just sitting there minding his own business, so let him guard his banana peel, and we kept on. Anyways, here you can sort of see what's going on. We've got my car, and we've got Nathan in his new marketplace find, the 3RZ Petrol Hilux. A bit of backstory, he had gotten this car the day before this trip, and we just decided to take it along with us and see how it went. And unfortunately, fault finding is a part of the process. So what's going on here?
Typical Hilux. Really.
Typical Hilux.
I can't.
What's going on? His throttle was becoming sticky, and he wasn't able to accelerate properly. Oh, indeed. But lucky Dad was straight onto it, and he tightened it up and got him back to that good acceleration down the road. Here's my car in all its glory with the full canopy set up. I had obviously all the tools and all the kit out, and Dad in the work truck in front of us, so the convoy. And for those who don't know, this is my car, a D22 YD25 Navara. I've had this car for a few years now, and I've put a lot of work into it. It is obviously modified from a stock car, but it's fully legal and a blast to drive. Anyways, we finished with Nathan's car, then once again, we're back on the road. Quick stop in Warwick for a bite to eat at KFC, then it was straight on to Goondiwindi. Coming into Goondiwindi, there are these awesome silos at Yallarbon, so we stopped, got some clips, and it was well worth the stop. Really cool little town, lots of abandoned buildings there, but super cool site and worth the few minutes stop to just have a good look around. You can see what I mean by the abandoned houses here. Obviously Dad and Nathan checking under his car, and check out that Outback behind us. How good is that? But anyway, time to get back into Goondiwindi. Not even 10 minutes later, we arrived at the very iconic Welcome to Goondiwindi art trail signs. Nathan, Dad, and I had all been wanting to stop here to get some photos and check it out, as it's a bit different. Here you can see the pretty strange Easter Island statues. Obviously one upside down and one fallen over. Really cool little design. Such a strange place and really worth checking out. Now, if you've ever driven into Goondiwindi or researched it, you would have seen this sign before. As all the local art here is a bit of a tourist attraction, but super cool. Here we have the smoko in the meadow and a giant table. And obviously, welcome to Goondiwindi. Here's a bit of a close-up of the cows in the meadow, which are made out of bits and pieces of metal. Super random, but pretty cool. Look at this guy. One last look before we went into town. And we had to stop off at a little place inland as Dad had some business to attend to. So me and Nathan spent most of the time going over our car before we head off to the showgrounds to set up for our camp for the night. Now, while I was setting up my rooftop tent, I did notice something. We were actually right next to an airstrip. It's kind of hard to see, but yep, that's an airstrip. But we didn't get bothered at all by any planes or anything land. It was super quiet, super wide open area at the showgrounds, beautiful spot, and what a sunset. Here was the rest of our camp set up, with Nathan and Dad rocking the swags. After a bit of a yarn, we caught the courtesy bus into town so we could go check out the pubs in Goondiwindi. Now, Goondiwindi is quite a quiet little town, but we were planning on checking out the Victoria pub, but it was shut, unfortunately. So we went to the Royal instead, and it was popping off. We stayed here for a while, had a good few drinks, then head back to our campsite to crash out for the night. After waking up just a little bit dusty, when I could finally get my head around, what a sunrise greeted us. Dad was already up at this stage. He'd already gotten a sunrise photo, and Nathan was still asleep. After watching the sunrise just a little bit more in the rooftop, I decided it was a good time to make brekkie for everyone and get some coffee started.
Oh, big fella.
And as well, Nathan had just woken up.
Tell us a little bit about your car.
Yeah, mate. Single cab. Rusty as fuck trade. They call that weight reduction back in the day, mate. The world's shittest mirrors that I couldn't see a fucking hibernating bear out of. Fucking still two more probably now. Mean as flexi flares installed by himself. 3mm bull bar.
3mm bull bar.
With the active weight reduction, as they call it.
Mate, oh, look at that.
Fucking, you're lucky I know that. State of the art GME, but
Doesn't work.
doesn't work. It's the toilet of the wiring for the aerial. Yeah, mate, you see down by my brake pedal?
Yep.
That's her.
I see. What a rig.
Got the gold.
Anyways, now it was time to pack up and get back on the road for one of our longest stints of driving, all the way to Lightning Ridge. About 70 k's of dirt roads and dust, we did have to pull over as Nathan's antenna had rattled off. But then it was back onto some of the most corrugated roads I've ever driven on.
Alright, so the situation is exactly as the camera seems. We've, a little GoPro by the way, we are on a unsealed, dirt road as the main road ended. We're on our way to Lightning Ridge. The corrugations are pretty wild. We're trying to make sure we can see because the dust is just crazy when we're driving down these unsealed roads. And anyone who's done it knows what I'm talking about. If you're following behind, it's you got to keep a bit of distance. But yeah, one of my patches just fell off the roof. What my old man was just saying is, being an unsealed road, they wash out, and you get a bunch of these soft spots that feel full of loose sand. And it's like driving on the beach in certain spots. You know, you got to put your foot down and try and get out of it. Make sure you don't get yourself bogged, while also watching what's going on ahead and around you. So it's definitely a bit of a mission. I'll show you guys what we're working with here. So we are literally That's all I can see is white. That's what I mean by the bull dust. Or sorry, not bull dust, the unsealed road dust just pops up in your face. It's, yeah, a lot of dust.
After over 100 k's of unsealed roads and lots of dust, we were back on a main bitumen road. And you'll see right here over the left, there are a bunch of wild emus. We actually passed a whole bunch of these along the way, as they are pretty common out back, but super cool to see in the wild. And just like that, we'd made it to Lightning Ridge. The first stop did have to be the servo, as we were all starting to run quite low again on fuel, and chatting to some of the locals about what's around and what's to go to in the area. Now, we didn't do a lot of the touristy stuff, like going to the mines and stuff like that, as they were closed when we were here. However, we did check out a few of the stores, including one of the art exhibits, where I picked up a few things, and I'll definitely hang them on my wall later. Super cool, and we'll do again. As we were driving around town, we did see this missile on the side of the road, so we decided to pull in and check it out. Yep, pretty random, but pretty cool. What an advert for the mini golf. We did enter through the rear of the town, so we had to make a slight detour to the front to see the very iconic signs. And after going through these old signs, we headed straight up the road to check out Stanley the emu. He's an old emu made out of beetle parts stuck up outside Lightning Ridge. So random, but pretty cool. And maybe some pretty cool little clips. Then once again, it was more driving on the way to Nindigully Pub. This time, only a short, good few hours. This is the only point in the entire journey where we got stuck in traffic, and there's not much around. But further up, we found another grain corp silo, so we pulled over, got some clips, before finally reaching Nindigully Pub. That's right, our main goal, and we were finally here. Now, since there was free camping just in front of the pub, we did have a bit of a look around. There's a bit of a lake. This was our setup, of course. We had Nathan, Dad, and Swags once again. Beautiful skyline, right next to a river. And, of course, the main attraction, the very iconic 4X Shed Nindigully Pub. But I've got to say, there's not too many places where you can camp in a spot like this out in front of an old pub. Now, believe it or not, the 4X Shed is not actually the main pub. It's just a bit to the left, but I will show you that tomorrow. For now though, how is this area? Then it was finally time to do what we had come all this way for. To sit back, have a few beers and a bit of a feed, chat and enjoy ourselves. Here is the inside of the pub. As you can see, the old hats all stuck up around the wall. Each one has their own story to tell, and this pub has plenty of stories to tell of its own. There is a lot to unpack here, but awesome read, and if you're in the area, man, you gotta check this place out. It is so cool. My empty words just don't describe it. But after a few drinks, we finally crashed out for the night. And once again, a beautiful sunrise greeted us. Waking up to views of the 4X pub is definitely an interesting experience, but I won't say no. I stayed in bed for as long as I could, just looking out the window as it was pretty cold outside, but then we finally got up, had a bite to eat, packed up camp, and moved over to the pub once again. There you can see Nathan getting some clips of his car to the right, and I decided to come over and join him. How cool is this? This is the actual Nindigully Pub.
Look at this kid. We got a fan on the premises. I'd be a fan of that mighty Hilux too if I was you, mate. Shitbox over there, mate.
Mate, there's no such thing. Oh, my storage is full.
As you can see, we were having an absolute blast out here. This is what the back of the pub looks like, where you sit and eat and drink. It is awesome. Such a cool area, and obviously, here's a view from the front. We were trying to get a photo of all three of us in front of it, but it just really didn't work. So we made do. Then, after finally saying goodbye, it was back on the road for a lovely 6.5 hour drive home. However, we did get caught in a bit of an unusual traffic jam. Now, these are always pretty fun to go to. A bit of dodging and weaving is involved to get through the cows, but the handlers always do a great job of getting them where they need to be. that's it. Our journey comes to an end. Thanking everyone for tuning in and watching our videos. I really hope you guys enjoy. These videos do take a lot of time to make and put together, but I really hope you guys enjoy. Thank you, Dad and Nathan, for coming with me on this trip. I had an absolute blast and I can't wait to do it again. And with that, until next time, everyone, get out there while you still can.